So you think you know everything there is to know about coaching pitchers in 11 and 12-year-old baseball? Well, you may not know everything. Today we catch up with a major Division I pitching coach who has not had a single arm injury in 16 years on his pitching staff. It's a pretty good statistic, so stay tuned to find out how he does it right here on Clubhouse Gas. We're fortunate enough to be joined by University of Virginia pitching coach Karl Kuhn. Karl, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
What we want to talk about is these coaches start to prepare these 11 and 12-year-old pitchers to get ready to move to the next level. So they're working on fundamentals. You as a college pitching coach, what are some important things that they can work on with these kids to make sure that they're fundamentally sound? Number one, they're maximizing their potential, and number two, they're not going to injure themselves.
Well, first thing I'd like to say before we get into the kind of the drill work is the big thing that really hurts our kids is pitch counts and pitch totals. And if we can really get these coaches to understand that, if I could just throw a couple numbers out at you, and hopefully this will help the coaches and the kids that are in your age group that you're targeting. 45 pitches off of a mound, we like to give our kids 72 hours rest. That doesn't mean that they don't pick up a ball again for 72 hours. It just means that they don't hit the rubber again or they don't get on the mound again. And the last number that I'd like to throw out at you is 100 pitches times that kid's age is all we're going to allow him to throw competitively. So if your kid's 11 years old, he's got 1,100 competitive pitches. That's all that we're going to give him for that calendar year. That's it. So now hopefully he doesn't throw 100 pitches a start at 11 years old, but he's got 1,100 pitches competitively. So if you can just target those numbers, 45 pitches, 72 hours rest, or you can get to 100 pitches times that kid's age, and you can also match it with the 45 and the 72, then I think you're in a good threshold for the kids in your target area. And we use that at the University of Virginia as well. 100 pitches times that kid's age is basically all we're going to allow them to throw for the year.
At 11 or 12-year-old, does the type of pitch they're throwing change that number at all? If they're throwing half those pitches as curveballs, does that increase that number?
Well, it doesn't increase. It lowers the threshold for how many pitches we want them to throw. All 11 and 12-year-olds, all kids aren't created equal. All kids have different strength levels. They mature at different ages. So what we like to look at is, and moms are the best at this, Johnny starts out in a particular posture with his pitching form. If he changes that posture, he's usually doing that because he's getting weaker or the pitch counts are going up and he's losing his strength. So he has to recruit from bigger muscles in order to move that ball forward. Does that make sense? So when he changes his posture, we only give our pitchers at the college level 5 pitches to fix their posture. If they can't fix it, then it's time to go, or we need to shut them down if we're in a skill session. So with that being said, posture being good, if it changes, then the number can go up or down according to the kid's size. I mean, if you're 11 years old and I'm 11 years old, you can definitely handle a little bit more than I can because of your strength level, your body type, and mine. So with that being said, your posture probably going to be better than mine longer or past 1,100 pitches. And with that posture, you can take them past 1,100, but be very judicious because if you're doing that to me, and I can't handle the workload that you can, then we're putting that kid in harm's way. Does that make sense?
And that's the last thing we want to do. We want to keep
No
the
doubt.
kids safe. And you talk about using different muscle groups. Obviously, the biggest muscle group being below the waist. Just got through watching you do a drill that was dealing with the stride.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to talk a little bit about that.
Well, we do a towel drill, and I've got one right here. And we take the towel, and we can hopefully get these out of all of the mother's kitchens, and we can get these drills. And it's very important to get a hand towel, and the Hilton here was so generous to let me borrow this for today. But we want to take it in our power finger, which is our middle finger, and we want to actually cut that towel in half, which will roughly leave about 1 foot on each side of the towel. And then we want to go through our motion and do the exact same motion as we would with a pitch, and we're going to have a partner holding the towel, or holding a glove in front of us at our belly button to chest height. And I've gotten this drill. It's not mine. I've gotten this drill from Tom House and the National Pitching Association, and they do some great work as well. And definitely give credit where credit is due. This is not me inventing the wheel, but we have used this for 16 years, going on my 17th year of being a pitching coach. And this drill, in conjunction with strength and conditioning and workload levels that we just talked about at the University of Virginia, we have not had one arm injury in 16 years. Not one. Not one not one Tommy John, and not one labrum, not one surgery, not one arm injury in 16 years. So I attribute this a lot to this drill.
So the end game is healthy pitching, but also through this drill, you maximize your potential
No
for
question
throwing.
about it. No, pitching is linear with a rotational component, and the towel drill allows you to stay on line as long as you can till it's time to rotate.
All right, we're going to go through the drill. I'm going to do my best to keep you mic'd here. You've got a partner here
Yeah, come on in, Coach.
with a great hat.
No doubt about it. Stand or sit over there like you were before, and he's going to be my partner. Basically, I'm going to start back here at this little mark, which is going to be my rubber, okay? And then I'm going to go through my entire motion as a pitcher from the stretch. So give me 1 second to do that. So now, here's my motion. Boom. So from wherever I land, we call it stride plus 5. Your stride plus 5 of your heel toes. And now my partner is going to have his hand at my belly button, between belly button and chest height. He's going to have his hand right there. And usually, if you're dealing with your size kids, you could probably use your hand as a dad or a coach. But at college level, we have our pitchers hold their gloves. They put their gloves on their hand because there's some guys throwing pretty hard, and we don't want to, break a finger or two. So he's going to hold his hand right there, and I'm going to go back to my rubber. And basically, everything that I'm trying to do is to hit his hand with this towel. So I'm going to show you a couple bad ones first, and then I'll show you a good one. Deal? Okay. If you notice on that one, I kind of pulled my head, and we talked about posture. The head is very critical to posture. If I pull my head to the left or I fall off, I still got plenty to reach him, but I've taken myself off of a linear path. Second problem that we see with young kids is they rotate too soon or they pull their arm back. So now we got the head rotating too soon, and now we're going to pull our arm back. If you notice, I got plenty there as well. But because I pulled my arm back, as the instant I begin to pull my arm back, I begin to rotate. And we want to rotate later. So as I said over there before, this is 3.5% of our body weight. This is another 3.5% of our body weight. This is 93% of what we are. We want to take the 93 to the 3.5, not the 3.5 back to the 93. So now I'll do it right. So as you can see, I was on line as long as possible. I rotated late. I took my body to my target. I took my 93% to the target or to home plate, and I was able to get closer to home plate and rotate later, which is basically what, as pitchers, we want to do.
So we stay under control. We use the majority of our body weight. Mm-hmm. It helps us be healthy, but it also helps us be more effective. You talked about increasing the velocity or the appearance of what your velocity.
Yeah, that's a very good point. With the first two, you notice that we did not hit our target or we did not hit our guy's glove. And we basically missed between a foot or a foot and a half, okay? And then when we did hit him, we actually got a foot or a foot and a half closer to home plate. 1 foot closer to home plate equals 3 to 4 miles per hour in perception to the hitter. So the gun or the radar gun is still going to say 80 miles an hour, but in perception to the hitter, it's now 83 or 84, or it's 77 or 76. 77, 76 will get you hit. 83, 84 may get you a college scholarship or may get you in high school ball playing. So that is a big swing. That's a 6 to 8 mile an hour swing in perception to the hitter. And everybody knows the harder you throw, the less reaction time the hitter gets. So you may not be able to throw 90 miles an hour, but you can get perceived velocity, which is just as deadly as velocity.
And we've seen that in a great career of Randy Johnson, whose 97-mile-per-hour fastball probably looks about $105 since he's throwing it from about 3 feet away from you.
No doubt. He is actually 46 feet away from home plate when he lets go of the ball, and it's
a Little League mound.
Very close. No doubt about it. Very close.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. This was fantastic. That's going to do it for us today. We'll see you right back here for another great edition of Clubhouse Gas.